Hello, Thrive. Welcome back after Easter holiday. I do hope it feels like you've had a bit of a break. But first week back at school, though. First week back at homeschooling. Hope you've all got back into the swing of learning. Even though we're not together physically, we need to remember, though, God is everywhere. God is with us, no matter where we are. So this week, the theme is keep your eye on Jesus. And Jesus walks on water. This is about courage. It's about having faith and not being afraid, no matter what is going on around us. So right now, I do hope you are ready to get your move on, ready to praise and worship as we sing Every Move I Make. And after that, we're definitely going to sit down, relax, and enjoy some story time. So come along, let's have fun together and see you soon.
Every move I make, I'm making you. You make me move, Jesus. Every breath I take, I breathe in you. Every step I take, I'm taking you. You make my way, Jesus. Every breath I take, I breathe in you. Na 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 na. Every move I make, I'm making you. You make me move, Jesus. Every breath I take, I breathe in you. Every step I take, I'm taking you. You are my way, Jesus. Every breath I take, I breathe in you. Waves of mercy, waves of grace. Everywhere I look, I see your face. Your love has captured me. Oh my God, I know. How can it be? Na 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 Every move I make, I'm making you. You make me move, Jesus. Every breath I take, I'm taking you. Every step I take, I'm taking you. You are my way, Jesus. Every breath I take, I'm taking you. Waves of mercy, waves of grace. Everywhere I look, I see your face. Your love has captured me. Oh my God, this love, how can it be? Na 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 na. Na 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 na.
Have you ever tried to do something that seemed impossible? Something, in fact, that your friends and those closest to you thought, that will never work? Well, if that's you, you're not alone. Because the person in today's story found out that things that seem impossible are entirely possible when Jesus is involved. It had been a long day out on the Sea of Galilee, and Jesus told his disciples to head home without him, while he sent away the crowds who had gathered. "But how will you know where to find us?" the disciples protested, clambering into the boats. "Don't worry, I'll be fine," Jesus said, waving them off. As the men sailed away, Jesus turned back to the crowds and told them it was time to go home. Finally, he had some peace and quiet and could pray alone. He stayed for quite a while deep in thought, talking to God. Meanwhile, out on the Sea of Galilee, the disciples were in trouble. The wind had grown stronger, stirring up strong currents in the water and battering the little boats. The alarmed men rolled up the sails and tried to row to shore, but despite straining at the oars with all their might, the boats were being blown off course, out into the dangerous open waters. Hours passed, and as the night grew darker, the wind grew wilder and the waves grew higher, the disciples realised they were lost at sea, and they were terrified. As they sat huddled in their boats, desperately waiting for the light of dawn, they saw a white glow in the darkness. It came closer and grew bigger. What could it be? As it got closer, they realised it was the shape of a man. "A ghost!" they cried, even more terrified than before. Then a voice came floating towards them on the wind. "Don't be afraid, it's me, Jesus." The disciples were confused. Was it really their friend and master, or was a demon trying to trick them? Peter spoke up bravely. "If it's really you, Lord," he shouted, "tell me to walk to you across the waves." "Yes, come then," Jesus called. Peter stood up, cautiously moved to the edge of the rocking boat and took a deep breath. The other disciples could hardly believe their eyes as Peter stepped out. Far from sinking into the churning waters, their friends strode from wave to wave over the swirling sea towards Jesus. Peter kept his eyes fixed on Jesus, not daring to look down. But when he was within a couple of steps of Jesus, his curiosity got the better of him, and he glanced down. The moment he saw the frothing foam beneath his feet, his courage deserted him, and he plunged down into the dark, cold waters. "Help! Help me, Jesus!" cried Peter. "I'm sinking!" Immediately, Jesus reached out and helped him up. "Don't be afraid. Why do you have such little faith?" He led his friend back to the boat, and the wind and the waves died down. The disciples were amazed. "Wow! Truly you are the Son of God."
What a great story about Peter walking on the water. Can you imagine what that must have been like? But you know, I've never needed to walk on water, but there's been so many times when I've needed Jesus to help me to do things that I couldn't do on my own. Now, take a look at this. I've got a bowl of water and some paper clips. Let's pretend that this paper clip is Peter. Could Peter walk on the water? No. Let's try again. Come on, Peter. No. Perhaps from a great height? No. Peter on his own couldn't walk on water. But take a look at this. If I take this paper clip and bend that, and I've made it into a sort of arm. This time, if I rest the paper clip, I've got to be able to balance it on there and put it in the water. What will happen this time? It floats on the top. Let's try it again. Let's rest this paper clip on the arm. Put it in. And this time it can walk on the water. And that was just like Peter. On his own, he sank. But when he was resting on Jesus and putting his faith in Jesus, then he could walk on the water. And that's just like us. Things that we think are impossible, that we can't do on our own, if we rest on Jesus or put our faith in him, then the impossible things become possible. But now I'm going to add this. I'm calling it distraction or doubt. And that's what happened to Peter. He got distracted by the wind and the waves around him and began to doubt Jesus. Let's have a look what happened when doubt came in. And distraction. that was when he started to sink. When we take our eyes off Jesus, that was when we can get into trouble. When Peter got distracted by what was going around him, he started to sink. And we need to learn from this story. If we keep our eyes fixed on Jesus and put our faith and trust in him, then fantastic, unimaginable things can happen. But when we start to doubt and we look at things going on around us and get distracted, that's when we get into difficulty. But you know, I love that part in the story when when Peter starts to sink. And he cries out to Jesus, and Jesus said, I am here. And you know, even sometimes if we mess things up a bit, Jesus is always there, and he helped Peter back to safety. And Jesus is always there to help us. What fantastic things we can learn from that story.
Hey, so, did you enjoy that story? Fantastic. But now we're going to play a game. We're going to play Simon Says. But first, you got to make sure you got plenty of space around you. So find a space, find a big space, and you spin around and not touch anything. Can you do a few jumps? Can you do a star jump? Yeah? Fantastic. Right then, let's go. Because I don't want to hurt yourself though, so be careful. Right, so, you know the rules. If I say, Simon Says, and touch my head, you touch your head. If I say, Simon Says, jump on the spot, you jump on the spot. If I say, Simon Says, wiggle your bum, you do a little wiggle. But if I say, jump up and down, I never said Simon Says. So continue doing what I last told you to do. Right then, are you ready? Are you steady? Let's go. Simon Says, jump up and down. Simon Says, touch your elbows. Simon Says, hands to the sky. Touch your knees. Ah! Nearly got you that time. Let's do it again. Simon Says, do the floss. Stop! I never said Simon Says. Oh, nearly got ya. Let's do it. One more time. You ready? Are you steady? Simon Says, touch your knees. Simon Says, run on the spot. Simon Says, touch your head. Simon Says, spin on the spot. Simon Says, wiggle your bum. Touch your head. I never said Simon Says, you should be wiggling your bum still. Did you enjoy that? Did you enjoy playing Simon Says? I enjoyed playing Simon Says. But now, you're going to play a game, or you're going to do some crafts, or you're going to get creative with Jill. So, enjoy!
Okay, so this week's challenge is based on the story. We know that Peter and the disciples were out at sea in the boat when they met Jesus. So this week's challenge is to make a boat. Use anything that you can find around the house that you think might float. I've found things like a yogurt pot, maybe egg cartons you could use, or plastic containers. You could, if you cut very carefully, you'll get an adult to do it, cut the top off a milk carton and use that. And make yourself a boat, okay? I've used a box that had Easter eggs in. And I've covered it in foil because otherwise the cardboard will get really soggy. And I want my boat to have a mast and a flag. So I've found some straws in the house. So I'm going to have maybe a green flagpole and make a flag out of paper. This is one that I cut earlier. You can have a triangle one or a rectangle one, whatever shape you like. And get your straw, or you could use a lollipop stick or just a stick you found outside. You'll need to put 2 holes in and then thread your straw or stick through the holes. like that. And you can see I've called mine, or I've put on mine, trust, because that's going to remind me to trust in Jesus. And on the other side, I don't know if you can see that, I've put 2 eyes to remind me to keep my eyes fixed on Jesus. Now I am going to use some sellotape and tape that inside my boat. So need some sellotape, Megan, please. Thank you. And there we go. That's my very basic boat ready to go sailing. So that's your challenge. Have a rummage around your house, see what you can find, and just make a fantastic boat. Decorate it, do whatever you like. You could make a huge boat that you can sit in if you've got a big box knocking around anywhere. But whatever you do, take some photos and upload them so that we can all have a look. We'd love to see what you get up to. And you know what, if you make a big boat, or you can sort of make one in your lounge out of cushions or something, then you could act the story out. Get an adult or brother or sister to read the story and see if you can act it out. Okay then, off you go. Bye.
Cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to, we cry out to, we cry out to you, Jesus. I've got a river of living water, a fountain that never will run dry. It's an open heaven, you're releasing, and we will never be denied.
Come on, we're gonna stir it up.
'Cause we're stirring up deep, deep wells. We're stirring up deep, deep waters. We're gonna dance in the river. Dance in the river. 'Cause we're stirring up deep, deep wells. We're stirring up deep, deep waters. We're gonna jump in the river.
Come on, jump.
Jump in the everybody sing it out. Deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to. We cry out to, we cry out to you, Jesus. Deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to. We cry out to, we cry out to you, Jesus. We're falling
Come on, bit of freestyle.
into deeper waters, calling after you. We're walking into deeper waters, going after you. Everybody clap your hands.
Come on, let's see you clapping. Come on.
If he goes to the left, then we'll go to the left. And if he goes to the right, then we'll go to the right. We're gonna jump, 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 jump in the river.
See you jumping.
Jump, 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 jump. Everybody, if he goes to the left, then we'll go to the left. And if he goes to the right, then we'll go to the right. We're gonna dance, 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 dance in the river. Dance, 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 dance. Everybody, if he goes to the left, then we'll go to the left. And if he goes to the right, then we'll go to the right. We're gonna shout, shout,
Shout! Come on!
shout, 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 shout. Deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to. We cry out to, we cry out to you, Jesus. Deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to. We cry out to, we cry out to you, Jesus.
Come on, fill up the end with your bit of freestyle. Woo!
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next Saturday, 11 till 12. And hopefully you all got something in the post this week that will help you engage with the miracles of Jesus that we started today. Today we looked at Jesus walking on water, and next week we'll look at another miracle. We learned that with the impossible can be made possible in God, that we can keep our eyes on Jesus to help us with our faith and to help us trust him more and more. And we can trust that he's always there for us, even when we do things wrong, even when we're not doing the things that our parents want us to do. Jesus is always with us. So I'm just going to pray. Father God, I thank you that you are always with us. I thank you that in you the impossible can be made possible. I thank you that you are always there for us, no matter what we do or what we say, Almighty God. And I just pray that you will bring love, joy and peace into the households of the children, that each and every one of them will know you in such a special way, and they will know that they can trust in you and in everything that you do. In your mighty name we pray. Amen.